and welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okuru. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has issued a certificate of return to Uche Oga, a member of the PDP, declaring him the new executive governor of Abia State. He will replace Okezie Ikpeazu, whose election was annulled on Monday. The court said Ikpeazu was guilty of tax evasion and was therefore unqualified to have contested the 2015 governorship election in Abia State. It ordered Nigeria's electoral body to issue a certificate of return to Oga, who contested the governorship ticket with the governor. The court also ordered the governor to vacate office immediately and hand over to Oga, who came second in the PDP governorship primaries in Abia State.
Yeah, the situation is that we are simply obeying the court order. Court says with immediate effect, without wasting of time, that INEC should issue that certificate. We just obey the court order. If tomorrow another court overrules, I am, by God's grace, I thank God, I am the INEC National Commissioner representing Southeast. I will do the same thing to another court. We are not above the court. The court says we should give certificate of return to the person who won, and that is Dr. Uche Oga. And that is why we have given. I was the one who gave certificate initially to Ikpeazu, because he was declared winner. Now court has said otherwise, and we cannot do otherwise. We cannot say no. We will not do. We are not above the law. We all obey the court. And another person we obey in our life is God. If my conscience is clear, and I have my conscience is my God. And another thing that guides us is the court, and we must obey the court order. And court said with immediate effect, if you were in the court, and I will urge every member here, everyone in the press here, to go and read the court judgment. It was wonderful. Direct. It was direct. Well, you see, one thing is this. INEC, when once court says, even we did it yesterday, or last week, I gave a certificate to Ozombachi because court ordered. He said if we don't do that, they can arrest us and jail us. I'm not prepared to go to jail for anybody. Just to issue certificate, I will just get a certificate, I beg. Let me go and sort it out in the court. If court issues anything tomorrow, yes. If they don't obey God, the God who created us, is it me that we obey?
A federal high court in Abuja has struck out the suit filed by an Abuja-based lawyer challenging the academic credentials of President Muhammadu Buhari. The dismissal of the case followed a motion for discontinuance filed by the plaintiff, Nnamdi Nwokocha Ahiwe. He alleged that President Buhari was not qualified to run for president because he did not possess the minimum qualification to run for the office. Before the withdrawal of the suit, the president had lined up 12 senior advocates of Nigeria to argue his case. Former spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party, Olisa Metu, has offered to return the sum of 400 million naira ARMS fund received from the former National Security Advisor, Colonel Sambo Dasuki, who is retired. Metu is currently facing charges bordering on a criminal breach of trust, corruption, money laundering, and for allegedly receiving the money. He had pleaded not guilty to charges and has since been granted bail by the court. In a statement on Thursday by his lawyer, Onyechi Ikpeazu, a senior advocate of Nigeria, Metu said the money was given to him by former President Goodluck Jonathan, but says he will return the money to show his support for President Muhammadu Buhari's anti-corruption campaign. A Boko Haram suicide bomber has killed at least 11 people after he blew himself up in a mosque in Cameroon. The incident occurred on Wednesday near the border Nigeria shares with Cameroon. A Cameroonian army officer said the bomber was a young boy. He had struck just after the breaking of the fast during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The Boko Haram insurgency has raged on for about 7 years now, killing over 15,000 people and displacing millions of others. Chad, Niger, Nigeria, as well as Cameroon, has already set a 9,000-strong force multinational joint task force to tackle the sect. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, has advised the Senate leader, Bukola Saraki, and his deputy, Ikekwe Madu, to leave National Assembly out of their court cases. Saraki and Ekweremadu were on Monday arraigned before a federal high court over allegations of forgery of Senate standing rules. They have pleaded not guilty. Lawal, in a statement issued in Abuja, faulted statements credited to the two leaders of the Senate after the arraignment, which according to him gave a wrong impression that the entire Senate was on trial. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has fixed dates to hold suspended elections disrupted by violence in Rivers, Imo, Kogi, and Kano states. The electoral body fixed July 23rd for the rerun of outstanding elections in Imo and Kogi states, while that of Rivers and Kano states comes up July 30th. Speaking at the National Stakeholders Forum in Abuja, INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu said the dates had been fixed after consultations with political parties and candidates.
Rivers, Imo, Kano, and Kogi states. We have started the processes of consultation, which will lead to the final determination of the exact dates not later than the 31st of July for the conclusion of the elections in the 4 states I mentioned, with a meeting of the political parties. And yesterday, we met with the security agencies. Today, it is the turn of the resident electoral commissioners, and then tomorrow, we'll have the National Stakeholders Forum involving the political parties, the candidates involved in the elections, the security agencies, the resident electoral commissioners will join, the civil society organizations, and the media. At the end of the meeting tomorrow, the definite dates for the conclusion of the elections in the 4 states will be made public. We said the elections will be concluded latest the 31st of July, but the exact date will be determined consultatively. And today's meeting, although regular, is part of the consultation. Secondly, we are also going to discuss with the resident electoral commissioners preparations for the forthcoming end of tenure governorship elections in Edo on the 10th of September and Ondo on the 26th of November. It is important, as we have always done, to prepare early, and that is exactly what we are set to do. We have done the continuous voter registration exercises in the 2 states of Edo and Ondo, and in each state, over 100,000 eligible Nigerians were registered. Those who have turned 18 and therefore have attained the franchise age, the voter franchise age, and those who may wish to transfer or relocate. As we are aware, the law says that you only vote where you are registered, but there is provision for transfer of your vote to or registration to the states where you wish to register. In each of these states, as I said, over 100,000 Nigerians were registered. Now we'll do the deduplication to make sure that there are no double registrants. And thereafter, we'll print the permanent voter cards and distribute them ahead of the elections in the 2 states.
Nigeria's electoral body says the only leadership of the People's Democratic Party it recognizes is the Ahmed Makafi-led committee. Rotimi Onyekani, who is the chief press secretary of INEC's chairman, revealed this at the commission's headquarters in Abuja. He said Makafi's leadership had been upheld by a court ruling, and this makes him the only acknowledged chairman of the party. His statement comes hours after a federal high court in Abuja ordered factional national chairman Ali Modu Sheriff to step down as leader of the party.
To the best of my knowledge, INEC will not be monitoring that. We were served with court orders concerning the McCarthy committee, and what happened was that the PDP went to court, and the court gave recognition to the McCarthy committee. Thereafter, the Modu Sheriff group also went to court, but they weren't able to get recognition. So we are just following court order. Now, there is supposed to be a judgment coming up on July 4th. So INEC will act based on what the court decides on July 4th.
Women Arise, a group in Nigeria, held a rally to protest gender-based violence and abuse of young persons in Nigeria. The rally was held in the city of Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. Carrying placards containing messages of sensitization against violence and chanting songs, the group marched from Island Roundabout to the Lagos State House of Assembly. Some Nigerian entertainment personalities, as well as other civil society organizations and security agencies, participated in the rally.
Gender-based violence is on the increase, and there's a need for us to create awareness. It has resulted into colossal loss of lives and property. A lot of families have lost their breadwinners, and there's the need for us to get ambassadors and champions, the best from the Nollywood. We also have from the film industry, from the force, and then within the civil society group, for us to create awareness. And wherever we find ourselves, either at the place of work, even at various locations, we should continue to carry the message that gender-based violence is evil. It can result in deaths, and that if the heat is too much, instead of killing each other, one person should take that leave. And for people to be aware that there is a law, and the law is no respecter of persons.
The awareness is for everyone, for men, for women, for children, and for people in authority, which is why we're here to see the speaker. The idea is for us not to change people right now, but create awareness that would make them change. All right? Because the thing is, it is not really, you see a lot of men or women or people who perpetrate this violence are people who have grown, they are mature, they are set in their ways. And so the idea is for us to have a meaningful engagement like this, to create awareness, to get them understand that violence against women is wrong.
I will again commend Lagos State for passing the domestic violence bill that is in effect in Lagos State. The law is there, people need to make it work for them. The law has been passed. Walk into the police station, make your case, and they will take it up.
Gender-based violence is actually, we might say, is on the increase. And the reason why we say it's on the increase is that because there are much more awareness right now, and people are reporting promptly cases of gender violence, gender-based violence cases. And right now what we do is that no more ground for compromising. We don't compound it anymore. We ensure that it goes to the law court.
I would like to congratulate you all for this beautiful outing. I sincerely appreciate your coming here. And I want to commend you as well for showing interest in the plight of others, those who have been violated, those that have been abused, those that have been raped, and so many of them. I thank you. It shows that we have good women and good men in our society. And this simply means with people like you, there is hope for a zen society and lawful society.
A former Foreign Affairs Minister, Ojo Maduekwe, has died. Maduekwe died on Wednesday at a hospital in Abuja. He was 71 years old. The cause of his death remains unknown. However, the chairman of the Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party, Walid Jibrin, confirmed his death. Until his death, Maduekwe was the secretary of the PDP Board of Trustees. An order given to 6 banks by the Nigeria Labour Congress to recall its sacked staff or face a strike action has been withdrawn. President of the NLC, Ayuba Waba, made this known during a media briefing in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. He said it was agreed that all hostilities, including the strike notice, should be put on hold to await the outcome of a meeting proposed by the Ministry of Labour and Employment. Some banks carried out massive downsizing in the last 3 months, a situation that led to the federal government mandating them to stop sacking or face severe sanctions. It's now been nearly 2 weeks since Ogun River in Nigeria's southwest region mysteriously disappeared under a pile of seaweed. When it first happened, it left residents of the Kara community in Ogun State really puzzled. However, when TV360 visited the community, the residents said they now have a clear picture of what might have happened to the Ogun River. This is the popular Ogun River. a river which used to overflow with water, but not anymore. For about 2 weeks now, it has since been taken over by seaweed known as water hyacinth. Residents woke up one morning to find out the river has literally disappeared. To them, it was a mystery, and many of them gathered around the river to watch in wonder. But before long, authorities had to explain to them this was no mystery, but a clear sign of the havoc water hyacinth could do to rivers and seas.
This is Ogun River that everybody knows in Nigeria, even the whole Africa. The way you see the other side full of water, that's how it looks like before. It was hyacinth that just come from nowhere, and it has been here for almost a week also. A lot of speculation is that the river has just dried up. You can see the other end. You can see it's full of water. This end also full of the water. Then at the middle, it was where the hyacinth come and just gets stopped. But the water is still passing underneath.
The river, which can be seen from the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, has a bridge above it. On one side of it, water is still flowing normally, while on the other side, it is covered up with green vegetation and with only a glimpse of water beneath. Authorities have warned residents not to walk on the grass, as the river could open up at any time with consequences. It says efforts are being made to remove the seaweeds.
Minister of Environment, Agric, even some of the SS, the governor were here, a lot of them. Even they are on operators, especially the Commissioner of Environment. He's still here, no day that will come and pass that he didn't see him here. He's negotiating with the other companies that will come and draw the hyacinth.
For some of the residents who depend on the river water in washing and doing other chores, they will be hoping the government acts fast to remove the weeds so they could have their river back. A group of civil society groups in Nigeria has urged lawmakers in the country to pass a bill to reduce the age qualification for candidates seeking office in the country. One of the groups, the Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YAGA, said the passage of the bill would increase youth participation in governance. A lawmaker representing Oshodi Solo Federal Constituency of Lagos State at the House of Representatives, Tony Unwulu, had sponsored the bill called Not Too Young to Run.
To Run campaign is a campaign that promotes active youth participation by reducing the age for running for office. It's a constitutional amendment engagement process where young people are seeking the age eligibility for running for political office in Nigeria, reducing the age for president from 40 to 30, Senate from 35 to 30, governorship from 35 to 30, State House of Assembly from 30 to 25, and the House of Representatives for 30 to 25. And why do we seek this reduction? Young people have contributed a lot towards the advancement of democracy. In our pre-independence struggle, they were led by young people. At post-independence, as well as our return to democracy, they were all championed by young nationalists who led the struggle. And so we are demanding that a space be created for young people as a matter of right to tap into the resourcefulness of our country. Boko Haram, ISIL will continue to radicalize young people if you don't give them space, because political exclusion and radicalization are actually synonymous, and there's a nexus between the two. And there are different studies that have established that the level of political instability and violence you see across the world, and even Nigeria, is as a result of political exclusion. And when young people feel excluded, they don't feel committed to the Nigerian state. And so it is important that the National Assembly actually writes its name in gold by reviewing our law.
The youth should roll out their drums. Make sure you sound it. The senators have children at home. They have siblings, they have relatives. Continue to drum it. The media, continue to let them know the time for change has come, since we have a change in government. And the government promises us change. Let the change also affect the youths positively. That is what we're clamoring for. We're not saying that the Senate should vacate for the young people to stay. What we're saying is that the young people should be given an opportunity to be part of the mainstream politics and decision making. We're no longer talking about youths are the leaders of tomorrow. We're talking about youths being the leaders of today, because a lot of innovations that are going on across the globe is being driven by the youths. So there's nothing stopping them from passing on their wisdom onto the youth. We're not saying they should vacate immediately.
You've been watching TV360 News now. We'll take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll look at business and international stories. Don't go away.
From the multi-award-winning filmmaker.
What were you doing at the beach resort?
The first ever Pan-African movie.
We've all met at company retreats in the past before.
Each one with a mission and a strategy to determine who will be the next CEO.
I googled you last night and I came up with nothing. Nada.
I'm off the grid. I fly below the signal.
Coming to the cinemas from the 15th of July, 2016.
10 VIP CEO premiere tickets and 20 autographed DVDs up for grabs when you pay for the OLX Do It For Me service from 6th of June to 1st of July 2016. Visit olx.com.ng to book a champ now.
OLX, sell it! Corruption not in my country.
Hello. Alahaji. Right now I'm in Abuja. No. Hello? Adamu. Right now I'm in Kano. Yes. When I get back, I'll just call you. Look, what is wrong with you? I'm talking on the phone and you are gesticulating and doing. What's wrong with you?
Daddy, where exactly are we as we speak?
Are you alright? This is Lagos.
Well, you just lied to someone that we're in Abuja.
Keep quiet. Who told you can tell an elderly person is lying?
Daddy, you just lied. And by lying, you are raising corrupt children for the future of Nigeria. That is corruption, not in my country. Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. We apologize for the break in transmission. To business stories now, Nigeria plans to raise between 305 billion naira and 395 billion naira in local currency denominated bonds with maturities ranging from 5 to 20 years in the third quarter of the year. The Debt Management Office said it would auction between 105 and 135 billion naira worth of bonds maturing in 2021, 2026 and 2036 in July, 95 and 125 billion naira worth of same debt in August, and 105 and 135 billion naira worth of the paper in September. In its latest debt issuance calendar, the Debt Office said the 2021 paper was a new issue, while the 2026 and 2036 maturing paper reopened previously issued debt. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry says the UK's decision to leave the EU may not have a profound effect on the Nigerian economy. Stockbrokers in Nigeria say when the UK eventually pulls out of the EU, we may see a negative impact on the Nigerian economy since the UK has most of their trading partners here in Africa. However, the LCCI says that is highly unlikely.
Well, I think the impact on the Nigerian economy is not likely to be that profound, particularly when you look at the relationship and our exposure to the UK economy. In terms of trade, UK accounts for just about 4.4% of Nigerian trade in the global economy. That is not too profound. Of course, we have Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians in Britain. I mean, close to 2 million or more Nigerians are in Britain. There could be some challenges in that respect, because in this whole scenario, the issue of immigration is very prominent. And to that extent, some diaspora remittances may be affected, because Nigeria is perhaps the largest recipient of diaspora remittances in Africa. and a good chunk of that also come from UK. So there could be some effect from the perspective of diaspora remittances. There could also be some effects from the perspective of the currency, although that could be positive, because positive for Nigeria, because with the unfolding development, it is likely that the British pounds or the UK currency will become weakened, because exit from the EU and even the expectation and the uncertainty that is already driving some decisions has led to the weakening of the pounds sterling. And it could also continue like that. And to that extent, that will make imports from the UK cheaper for countries that import from UK. So the few things that we import from UK will be cheaper for us. Then secondly, it is also possible that because of our affinity with the United Kingdom, dating back to the colonial times, and particularly within the framework of the Commonwealth, it is possible that we even get closer, when they, exit from the EU. So from the trade perspective, first, the shock will not be much on us. From the diaspora remittances perspective, there could be some issues, because when the immigration rules become tighter, some Nigerians may be affected. Nigerians that are also having investments in the UK, such investment may also be adversely affected, and that could also affect their capacity in terms of remittances to the country. When things happen like this, there is the issue of uncertainty that will creep in, and that is what has reflected in the financial markets, globally and even in Nigeria. But for me, these are temporary things. As things stabilize, I think things will be back to normal. And when we talk about portfolio investment, quite a lot of it also comes from the EU itself, the larger Europe. I agree some come from the UK, but a much larger number come from the United States, come from the EU. I think what is happening now are decisions based on expectations, decisions driven by uncertainty. So investors normally, including portfolio investors, will have to step back a little to see how all these things play out before they take some decisions going forward in terms of investment.
Quite a number of Nigerian banks actually have branches in the United Kingdom. What potential impact could this have on, the operations of these banks, especially here in Nigeria?
Well, not materially, because the effects will be dependent on the volume of business that is generated from UK. And when you look at it within the context of trade, then you'll be looking more at issues of trade finance. You could be looking more at some offshore financing that has come from UK. From the point of view of capital importation from UK, financing such capital from the point of view of a weaker UK currency, I think will even be easier for those who have either borrowed money from UK or something. And from the point of view of trade finance, not much trading is taking place. So if you look at the volume of transactions with many of our banks, compare with the total value of transaction that is taking place with the total portfolio of that transaction, it is not likely to be that material. So I don't think that there could be any material impact on the Nigerian banking system arising from this Brexit.
Oil prices fell towards $50 per barrel on Thursday, pressured by higher Nigerian output. There was also concern about the economic outlook following UK's vote to leave the European Union. Brent crude was down 48 cents a barrel at $50.13 per barrel, while US crude was down 48 cents to $49.40 per barrel. Returning Nigerian supply is expected to put pressure on oil prices. Turkish officials say they have strong evidence that the Istanbul airport attackers came from the Syrian ISIS stronghold of Raqqa. Turkish Interior Minister Efka Ala announced the death toll from the attacks has now risen to 41. Over 140 people were also injured in the attacks. He said ISIS leadership was involved in the planning of the attack. Turkish authorities had previously said they had indications the men who carried out the bloodbath were foreigners, but had not said where they came from. Authorities have now detained 22 people over the incident. Ex-London Mayor Boris Johnson has ruled himself out of the race to be the next Conservative leader and Prime Minister. In a speech in London billed as his campaign launch, Johnson said he did not believe he could provide the leadership or unity the country needed. It comes after fellow Brexit campaigner Michael Gove's surprise announcement on Thursday morning that he would run for leader. Home Secretary Theresa May is among the candidates expected to run for office. Nominations close on Thursday afternoon. Nigerian champions Eyimba are facing the prospect of a group stage exit in the 2016 CAF Champions League after it lost its second game in a row. The People's Elephant had lost their opening match at home to Zamalek before losing 2-1 away to South African side Mamelodi Sundowns in the second round. They are currently on 0 points, 3 points behind Sundowns and Zamalek, who have played a game less. The top two from the group's progress to the semi-finals, while Eyimba's next match is against Zamalek on August 12th. NPFL sides River United and NPFL sides River United and Shooting Stars of Ibadan headlined the round of 16 fixtures in the men's version of this year's Federation Cup, scheduled for next week. Both teams will battle at the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna on Wednesday, July 6th, just as Wiki Torres of Bauchi confront Plateau United in Akure and Sunshine Stars of Akure tackle Aqua United in Makurdi in the other MPFL clashes. In the women's competition, which is at the quarter-final stage, cup holder Sunshine Queens trade tackles with Rivers Angels of Port Harcourt in a top-of-the-range clash in Abuja, while Bayelsa Queens and COD United Ladies of Lagos go for broke in Ole. Both matches come up on Thursday. Well, that's all we have on news now. We thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.